There are a bunch of undrafted rookies that made their team's roster, but here are the ones that look like absolute gems. I mean, this one right here could end up being the one of the video, the one that makes the biggest impact. Rams undrafted rookie linebacker Sean Dolak from Buffalo. I mean, he was a star at Buffalo. He went undrafted. Maybe he doesn't have the measurables, the freaky speed. He played at Buffalo, so I guess that's why. The Rams are a team that they do not value linebackers. They just will not value linebackers. They actually end up drafting Chris Paul Jr., a little bit later on day 3. He doesn't make the team. Dolak looks like a stud throughout preseason. He makes the team. And because the Rams don't value linebackers, it's wide open on that depth chart, on that roster. I mean, you could take that starting role. So that's why Dolak might end up being the star of this video. He actually could have a role with the Rams, maybe earn a starting job, at least at some point, and making them better at a position that they're very weak. I mean, it's a reason they struggled to stop the run down the stretch in the playoffs last year. So a undrafted rookie to watch. Panthers undrafted rookie corner from Louisville, Corey Thornton. This is one of those guys on this list that everyone's talking about over there at Panthers camp. He stood out in the joint practices, stood out in preseason, but mainly from that training camp, from those practices, the Panthers are just stunned by how impressive that he was, and he obviously made the team. And after J.C. Horn, I mean, Mike Jackson can play, obviously, but it's a little wide open on that cornerback depth chart for the Panthers. And, of course, Horn is a star, but he does have durability concerns. So could a young, undrafted player like this actually work his way up and make a name for himself? There's already rave reports about him out of Panthers camp, so one to keep an eye on. Ravens linebacker Jay Higgins. I mean, he was looking like a sure thing draft pick, like mid-round draft pick, definitely going to get drafted, and then he goes and runs a 4.82, and that just absolutely destroyed his draft stock. And speed matters. Testing matters. It's not everything, but that made him go undrafted. The Ravens know how to find guys. They know how to develop them, especially on defense, especially at linebacker. And they got a stud. I mean, he stepped out there in preseason, right in the first game, and he's making big-time plays. He's showing that, hey, I have the instincts. I have the playmaking ability. I'm always around the ball. The speed does not matter. So Ravens depth chart at linebacker, I mean, they have a star, one of the best football with Roquan Smith starting, but down the depth, it's a little bit open there, and it just wouldn't surprise me if he found a role. I mean, he kind of already has, but for the Baltimore Ravens. The Vikings kept a long list of undrafted free agents, and I could have put multiple of them on this list. I mean, Brosmer looked pretty good. Huber, the guard, looks pretty good as well, but the number one guy that makes this list for the Vikings got to be Elijah Williams, defensive tackle from Morgan State. Really was a no-name guy out of the draft. Vikings pick him up, give him a shot. No one's expecting anything, and he was an absolute stud in training camp and preseason. Part of the reason Harrison Phillips got traded, the Vikings felt like they were so deep. They added some stud players at D-tackle, but they loved the young guys that they had, including the draft pick, but the undrafted Elijah Williams as well. For those guys to be able to play on game day, move up the depth chart, trade Harrison Phillips. So he made that much of an impact, and he was showing out right away in preseason against the Texans. So a very small school, small name to keep an eye on. Chargers rookie corner from Oregon, Nico Reed. I mean, standing out right away. That Hall of Fame game, the first game, really early, a pick 6 against the Detroit Lions. And you hear Harbaugh right away talking about him like this. It's a good kid. Like, it's a good kid, wants to play. He's really out there competing for us. And boom, he makes the roster. And the Chargers, last year took a couple rookie corners pretty late. They weren't supposed to be anything special, and they were very good right away. Well, Cam Hart was a little bit bigger of a name, but they were better than expected right away. The cornerback room dealt with injuries, and everyone's playing way better than expected, right? It's because the coaching of that team, the developing from that staff, and now you get another corner, played at a big school, Oregon, coming in the Chargers. The cornerback room's a little wide open, especially given that, they were a little beat up last year. So it's a shot to play and a shot to be a lot better than people think. And a lot of it is due to that coaching staff, that defense he is going to, or that he's been at with the Chargers. Giants receiver from Notre Dame, Bo Collins, really stood out in preseason. This is a big body guy, pretty good contested catcher down the field. You wish he had a little bit more breakaway speed or quickness. It just really wasn't a guy anyone was expecting to be anything here in training camp preseason, even though he was. But why people were not expecting it, because, he was lacking the production throughout his college career. looking at last year at Notre Dame. But if you really think about it, you go all the way back to Clemson. Right when he got at Clemson, I mean, he's a big-time recruit, big-time receiver we're supposed to keep our eye on. And he looks pretty good. He has those big-time flashes right away. But then he just never fully put it together. I know Clemson kind of all of a sudden had some struggles with their offense at one point in there, right around when he was there. The receivers really couldn't do anything. So maybe it was a Clemson thing at that point. Maybe it was their offense, their receiver room. Then he goes to Notre Dame, and he's making right away, first few games, making some splash plays, big-time contested catches. Like, okay, Notre Dame's got themselves a receiver. Then kind of disappeared for a little bit. But if you think about it, same thing kind of happened what happened with Clemson. The passing game really wasn't there, even how good Notre Dame was last year. The passing game, especially downfield, it just didn't really fit Bo Collins' ball. They were a run-first team, run-second team. So now he gets into an NFL offense, and he is showing out. So you kind of go, oh, okay, maybe that does kind of make some sense. Giants got some pretty good starters led by Malik Neighbors. Their depth really isn't fully there. He could end up being the best or the second best depth or rotation option after his standout preseason. How about Bears rookie receiver Ja'Day Walker from Texas A&M? I mean, really turned heads, really showed out at training camp, but in preseason. I mean, the final play of the last preseason game scored basically a walk-off touchdown. They just put it all on him. Bajent just stepped back, threw it there, and he made the play. I mean, the physicality, the contested catchability, the hands. He looked so legit that it's like, this guy is too good to like not play. The Bears are going to have to find a way to play this guy. And the Bears have a deep, solid, young receiver room. So that's a tough roster to make, by the way. They had to keep him. He's just too damn good. He looked legit. He looked like a natural, in every category. So this guy is legit. Let's see if he can find a way to get on the field. I sure hope he does because, again, I think it sure looks like he's pretty solid. Drew Moss, the 49ers undrafted rookie interior offensive lineman from Colorado State, has potential to play guard or center. You just keep hearing good things about him out of 49ers camp, and he was a big-time standout in his last preseason outing as well. Just seems like one of those dogs on the inside of that offensive line there. And again, I think it's huge that he's going to be depth right away at guard or center, could fill in for anyone. He eventually could be a starter, and the 49ers, they needed to upgrade a lot of spots in their roster this offseason. They kind of did that except for offensive line. It looks pretty thin on paper. You're wondering who is going to step up for them. Where do they actually get better? But they might have found someone sneaky here in Drew Moss. So a guy to watch. He could fill in, eventually start. He could be the starter of the future at center. Some people are talking about that already. Or guard. They need someone to step up at that left guard spot. Because remember, Aaron Banks went to the Packers. So this is kind of a smaller name that's starting to turn heads to watch for the 49ers this year. Patriots undrafted receiver from Eastern Washington, Efton Chisholm, who, even though it was a smaller school, kind of a no-name guy, he actually was in line to get drafted. But another guy that kind of ran a slower 40 and that just completely crushed his stock. But shows up at Patriots camp, and he's turned heads instantly. Other receivers, notable names, did not make that roster. Kendrick Bourne, Javon Baker, etc., because there's a roster spot for a guy like this. So they're big fans of him, what he's been able to do consistently out there at training camp and preseason, lighting it up. And it's where Cooper Kupp came from as well. So could a little bit different style receiver, but could he be another Cooper Kupp? Could he be a gem that Mike Vrabel and company found here? And the Patriots needed some receivers to step up, so he could be one of those guys for Drake May. But that'll do it for this one. There was tons of good undrafted rookies to make their roster. These are the ones that really are standing out because how well they're performing, and they have a pretty decent shot to play, have a role, make an impact, and become the next big undrafted free agent to turn out in the NFL. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We did a similar video with guys that were actually drafted. Check it out. Our in-season content is right around the corner. Join us for all that. Follow us on Twitter. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.